Yes everyone, it's me Ziah Media, and today we are here with a color grading video, and I'm going to show you how to color grade on Premiere Pro today with a LUT. And every time I use a LUT, I'm going to drop it in the description so you guys can go download it. But anyway, let's get straight into it, and let me show you how to color grade. We're going to get straight into the color grade. We've got a clip here on the canvas. This was shot on a BMPCC 6K G2 with a Rockinon 35mm lens. Yeah, and it's given us this result on B-roll. We're gonna go into the footage, we're gonna add 3 adjustment layers. 1, 2, and 3. We're gonna move this up all by 1 so there's a space on video line 2. So we've got 1, 2, and 3 adjustment layers. Let's go into the first adjustment layer and apply a LUT. The LUT we'll be using is my LTR Cine LUT Rich CG, which you'll understand why it's a Cine LUT Rich, because it gives that rich dark tone. And the reason why I'm using this is because I want to create an infinity pool, like an infinity pool of darkness in the background, and have him and the microphone really bright with a slight magenta on the side. So that's the first layer. And then we're going to come into the effects controls and we're going to bring it down to where we see fit. 65. 70 is too much. And on the second layer, we're going to go straight into the creative and add SL Big LDR. HDR gives it too much darkness. LDR pops the brightness a little bit, but still holds that darkness. Boom. And you'll see the difference between the two. SL Big HDR. See? Bit duller, less brightness. When you have the intensity at 100, I feel like it gives the LUT a really fake feel. So I like to drop it to 50 first, see what it looks like. Still a little bit too fake for my liking, so I'm gonna drop it, keep on going, 35, the 40 mark is nice. And then we're gonna take back on the opacity as well in effects controls. Slide it down to around 80%. So now we're gonna check. Take this one off. Take this one off. The beginning. Boom. Boom. Now this is where things get technical on the third adjustment layer, because we will not touch the LUTs anymore or the creative. We're going to come into basic correction, miss the white balance, miss the temperature, miss the tint, miss the saturation, and we're going to go straight into the exposure. For the exposure, because like I said, I want it a little bit brighter, we're going to come with the brightness and probably take it to 0.5. Not too much where it gets overexposed, but just enough to brighten everything up. Even if we do overexpose, I've got a little trick for you guys, which this video 2 line, why we keep 3 at the end. Let's carry on. Contrast. So normally we bring it up, but some scenarios we bring it down. This one we're bringing it up. So we're going to look here into the highlights, bring up the highlights because I wanted it to be brighter on his skin. And most of the highlights in this video are all on the jumper and the skin and the microphone, as you can see. There's not many highlights in the background apart from the left side of the video, which is over here, because I set up a light which had obviously the purple magenta vibe that I wanted. Shadows, I want to drop the shadows, not too much, I reckon to around -10, which gives a nice distinct difference between the background shadows and the skin shadows. Now the whites, we want to bring the whites up to around 10. That will create enough white here and enough white around his face. So let's take it so where he's going to be looking at us. Now you can see his face more clearly. If we take this off, boom. Always when you're doing color grades, you want to turn it on and off just to check. So in the blacks, we want to bring them down. And because we want it really dark, I'm probably going to take it to the -25. Let's go into the lumetary scopes. Have a look. That's our skin line. My color grades always go off the charts. And I know this is not an authentic or traditional way to colour grade, but I don't know, this is the way I get the best colour and curves. Straight away, let's go into the RGB curve. Shadows, midtones, highlights are the three you need. Yeah, for this footage, it's going to be small. So, I'm going to take it out a little bit, the shadows, to give it that dark feel in the background. And we're going to bring his facial and midtones up. And we're going to drop his highlights to bring them up. And look, we've created that little boom S-curve, 1, 2, and 3. So it goes boom, boom, boom. Even though it's so minimal and so little, that's what the S-curve is. We're going to miss the hue versus sat, and we're going to come straight into the hue versus hue. We're going to select red and 2 on that side and 1 on this side. Always do it in 3s when you're doing hue versus hue. I want the magenta feel to come up, so we're going to bring up slightly, not too much so it gets distorted, but slightly so we get more of that magenta feel on his face. Around there. And these two, you see, this is going to start feeling his top, bring the green down, and this is going to enhance your magenta on the left side of his face over here. Now we've got that, those three, we're going to come back into the hue versus sat, put 1 on the magenta because we want magenta, because that's the colour we picked, 1 on the red, 1 on the yellow, and 1 on the green. Always go with the face first. Hue versus sat, we're going to bring it up a tiny bit on the face, we're going to bring it down a tiny bit on the yellows, and then we're going to bring them up on the greens. And on the magenta, because we've already fiddled with it up on the hue versus hue, we're going to drop it down a tiny bit, and that's what my curve will look like for this specific color grade. Now we're going to come into the hue versus luma, and we're going to do the same as the hue versus sat. 1 on the magenta because we picked it, 1 on the red because that's always the face, 1 on the yellow because that's close to the face and that's the shadows around the face, and the green because he's wearing green, and there's a lot of green in this video. So like I said, always start with your face. As you can see, it's coming up, 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 and it gives that brighter feel to the video. And now we can mess around it. We want to take the greens down because we've already put them up on the hue versus sat, and we want to bring the yellows up. So as you can see around here, it brings all the brightness up of the yellows. And on the magenta side, we want to drop it. These two we will come back after because we want to go back into the saturation in the basic correction and take some of the saturation out because we've been messing around with the hue versus sat and the hue versus luma. So we want to take it to around the 85 mark. See, now he's a bit more dull again. Then we're going to come straight back into the curves and go to the sat versus sat and bring it up. I take out of the basic saturation because the curves give you way more free range of motion to give you saturation in different parts. So from the face to the microphone to the color of his skin to the color of his clothes, it gives you way more free range of motion. So we put 1 button there and 1 button there and 1 button there. Bring it up, and that sets the tone. Drop this one down and drop this one down. So that first one brings everything up, and these two just bring the colors of his clothes and the microphone down. Same with this luma versus sat. 1, 2, and 3. Not too high because we've already done the sat versus sat quite high. So here, here, and here. Follow. Them two will follow each other. The colour wheels and match always are something that some people like to touch or don't like to touch, because you've got the highlights, midtones and shadows, but you've got them also in the HSL secondary. But for this video, because it's quite warm and quite green, we're going to go and take some of the highlights out, and we're going to put blue. Same with the shadows, we're going to put them blue into them. And same with the midtones, we're going to put blue into them, and we're going to adjust them. So the highlights, because we put blue, it's going to get a bit brighter and a bit more colder. And because we added the midtones, blue, it's going to get, like I said, brighter and colder. And because we added shadows, with the shadows we're going to drop them down. See? Not too high, but we're going to drop them down so we keep the effect of that background. And like I said, because it's a little bit overexposed, what we're going to do is bring a duplicate of the bottom clip, and we're going to nest it. And we're going to call it a fake shadow. Once we've nested it, we're going to come back into the FX control and click subtract, which makes a complete black screen, and you're going to think, what the fuck is he doing? What the fuck is this guy doing? Turn the opacity down. Keep on going, keep on going, keep on going. You're going to start to see your clip, boom. That's where I like it. Now you can see what I was saying. We've brought the greens up, his face up, the microphone is standing out, and the black is like an infinity dark pool. From the start, we added the LUT, then we added the creativeness, and then we added the basic correction, and then we darkened it all. Boom.
She wants new Mercedes, seen her with it lately. Drive these bitches crazy, she wants entertainment. I'm gon' fix you, baby, I go through these phases. Girl, your love is training. Niggas get mad when their paper don't stack right. Why you act like a bitch, nigga, act right. I get paid in full and that's outright. I'm the king of this hill by a landslide. It's whatever that floats your boat, but whatever they're doing is making them capsize. To the leaf of my life like I'm baptized. I ain't taking no useless advice. None of my pretty girls nails on fleek and her hair on fleek and her curves all natural. If I had $1 for the time that I kept it real, then I have me a stack full. I'm lifting her up as we fucking, I'm giving her wings.
We done a quick check through and a quick run through of the video. Everything looking very good and very professional, and I'm very happy with it. And that's it. Thank you people for watching the video. I'm gonna leave the LUT that I used in the description for you guys to download for free. Like I said, like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. Nah, piss off. See you later.